5 soldiers were shot in a shooting incident at the U.S. Army's Fort Stewart in Georgia, according to a verified Facebook page for Fort Stewart and the associated Hunter Army Airfield. The nature of the soldiers' injuries was unclear. All were taken to Winn Army Community Hospital, the Post said. There is no threat to the community, the Post added, noting the shooter has been apprehended. 2 law enforcement officials previously told CNN the shooter is no longer a threat. The shooting occurred in the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team area of the fort, according to a post on the Fort Stewart Hunter Army Airfield Facebook page. Law enforcement responded to reports of a possible shooting at 10:56 a.m., and the installation went into lockdown 8 minutes later, the Post said. The shooter was apprehended at 11:35 a.m., and the Post said. The 2nd ABCT complex remains on lockdown, though Fort Stewart has lifted the lockdown in other areas. Angel Tomko, the Fort Stewart Police Department spokesperson, earlier confirmed there is an active shooter, but would not provide further details. The investigation is ongoing, according to the Fort Stewart Hunter Army Airfield page. The U.S. Army's Fort Stewart trains and deploys active and reserve Army units, and is home to the 3rd Infantry Division. It is about 40 miles southwest of Savannah, Georgia. Fort Stewart is associated with the Hunter Army Airfield, which is in Savannah itself. More than 10,000 people, soldiers, family members, and Army civilian employees, reside on Fort Stewart or Hunter Army Airfield property, according to the Combined Post's website. The Combined Post employs more than 25,000 people. Agents from the FBI's Savannah, Georgia office are responding to Fort Stewart and coordinating with the Army Criminal Investigation Division, according to an FBI Atlanta spokesperson. Georgia Gov. Brian Kemp said on X he was in close contact with law enforcement, saying he was saddened by today's tragedy at Fort Stewart. We are keeping the victims, their families, and all those who answer the call to serve in our hearts and prayers, and we ask that Georgians everywhere do the same. Oh, and the installation went into lockdown 8 minutes later, the Post said. Local officials' reactions. Several local officials in Georgia expressed deep concern following the incident, confirming they are in constant communication with base leadership to monitor the situation. Some also called for a review of security protocols at military installations to prevent similar events in the future. 2. Eyewitness accounts inside the base. While no official statements have been released by soldiers or staff inside the base, some sources report a sense of shock and unease among troops and their families, especially since the shooting occurred in a key training area. 3. Background on Fort Stewart. Fort Stewart is one of the largest U.S. Army installations, known for training and deploying armored units worldwide. The base spans a vast area and includes residential facilities for soldiers and their families, making it a critical hub for military readiness. 4. FBI's role in the investigation. The Federal Bureau of Investigation confirmed its involvement in the case, working alongside the Army's Criminal Investigation Division. A joint statement is expected soon, potentially shedding light on the suspect's identity and possible motives. Center 5. Impact on military training. Sources suggest that certain training activities at the base may be temporarily suspended as investigations continue. Security measures are also expected to tighten at entry and exit points while emergency protocols undergo review. B6. International media coverage. International media outlets have already highlighted the incident, describing it as one of the most significant shootings at a U.S. military facility this year. Many reports have linked it to ongoing discussions about soldier mental health and conditions of service. 7. Updates on the victims' conditions. Authorities have not yet released detailed updates on the soldiers' conditions, but the military hospital confirmed they are receiving the necessary medical care. A formal update is expected once their conditions stabilize. And 8. Psychological support. Measures. In response to the incident, Fort Stewart is expected to roll out emergency mental health programs for soldiers and their families. Trained counselors will provide immediate support to help those affected cope with the emotional aftermath. 9. Social media reactions. Across social media, friends and families of service members expressed concern and sought updates about their loved ones. The hashtag #FortStewart quickly trended nationwide, reflecting widespread attention and worry. 11. Increased security presence. Following the shooting, additional military, police, and federal agents have been deployed across Fort Stewart and nearby Hunter Army Airfield. Patrols are expected to remain heightened for several days as authorities ensure the safety of personnel and residents. Community support and vigils. Local communities surrounding Fort Stewart are already organizing vigils and prayer services for the injured soldiers. Many residents describe the base as deeply connected to the local identity, making the tragedy feel personal to civilians as well. Ongoing investigation timeline. Investigators are now piecing together a timeline of events leading up to the shooting, examining security footage, interviewing witnesses, and reviewing the suspect's military record. Officials say it may take days before the full picture emerges. Political response. Members of Congress representing Georgia have also weighed in, promising to push for a thorough review of safety measures at U.S. military installations. Some have called for bipartisan support to address mental health services for service members nationwide. Historical context. This incident adds to a troubling history of shootings on military bases across the United States. Experts say each case highlights the complex challenges of balancing operational readiness with ensuring the well-being of soldiers and staff. Family notification process. Military officials are currently notifying the families of those injured, a process described as delicate and emotional. Privacy is being maintained, and names will not be released until all relatives are informed. Expected next steps. Over the next 24 to 48 hours, investigators are expected to release preliminary findings, while the base will remain partially restricted. Additional counseling services, security briefings, and media updates are anticipated. Broader national impact. The incident has reignited national discussions about gun safety, mental health, and internal security within the armed forces, sparking debates across news outlets and social media platforms about how such tragedies can be prevented. Reassurance from base commanders. Fort Stewart leadership has reassured residents and service members that there is no ongoing threat, emphasizing that life on the base will return to normal once the investigation concludes and safety measures are reassessed. Public call for solidarity. Military and state officials have urged the public to stand in solidarity with the affected soldiers and their families during this difficult time, asking for patience and respect as details continue to unfold.